All right. Game time. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you all are having a good night here. Getting ready for the games to start. Make sure that we are good to go here first. Looks like we are good. How y'all doing this afternoon? That we are good on OBS really quick. Looks like we are fine. Let me know if there's any problems with the stream. As we are going along. All right, so on Chiefs Cardinals right now currently. All right. We're getting ready. React live to this game here, and then we got the other game on NFL Network too. So we got a packed night for you all. And here we go. Chiefs Cardinals starting up. Glad to be hanging out with you all in the preseason. Good run back here. Hope you all are having a wonderful start to your weekend. Here comes Kyler Murray. We get to see his first action here in the preseason. Great numbers last year. I mean, he had a good year. Was pretty hype about the Cardinals going into last season. We'll see what this year brings. Here's the first snap. We'll get to see the Chiefs O-line as well in this game. It's going to be so interesting to watch. Edmonds wearing number 2 is really weird. All right, second snap here for Murray. Good run by Chase Edmonds. Love the short pass in here. going to be really fun to watch this offense with AJ Green. We know that Larry Fitzgerald, I think, is pretty close to retirement at this moment, as reported today. So Rondell Moore's going to have a bigger role. AJ Green's going to have a bigger role. This is a nice receiving core, really underrated. But Green, of course, has had some struggles. He had some struggles last year with injury. Hopefully it doesn't continue this year in Arizona. This can be a good spot for him to be successful. Tough throw there, and we're in fourth down. For Gathers, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Checking in the chat. Let us know any questions that you have about these games, any other thoughts on the NFL season as we're a few weeks away. Here's Demarcus Robinson. Great returner for the Chiefs. This Chiefs team, obviously, their receivers are filled with speed. That's obvious. And you get to see that, I think, even more so in the punt returning game and the kickoff return game from this team, because that's where a lot of these young guys like Robinson really get to shine. Here comes Mahomes in this offense. So, obviously, Mahomes wants to go 20-0. I don't think that that's realistic, but even so, I mean, this team has a chance to get, about 13 to 14 wins this year? There's CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Really excited for him in fantasy this year. He should be a fun player. This year more than last year. Le'Veon Bell kind of cut into his touches in fantasy last year. This year he'll be good to go. He'll have all the running lanes he wants this year, I should say. It should be really exciting. Mahomes' ability to just read progressions is so impressive. It's one of my favorite parts about watching Patrick Mahomes is when you watch him play, he can look one way, like that play right there. He can look one way, he can look to the left, fool an entire defense, and go right up the middle. He has such great pocket awareness. That's so underrated in his game. CH, that quick throw right there. We're seeing this offense just roll again, and it's only the preseason. The way he just evades pressure there. The speed on pre-play with this offense is just unbelievable. It's not what they do post-snap. It's what they do pre-snap that makes this team so fun. False start. Another great run by CH. Not too much, but just the way he's running. He looks ready to go. Third and 9. Nice throw. Love the O-line play here. One bad play early on, but most of this drive is pretty good. Small sample size, but still really impressive. They're going for it here on fourth. Here we go. I like this, being aggressive in the preseason. Another false start? These ESPN graphics, my goodness. These graphics every year never gets old. The Royal Guard? What? This is a really great O-line. This is a top 5 O-line.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Brandon. How are you doing, man?
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. No worries. We started the stream a little while ago. Well, welcome in.
Which game are you watching?
I'm watching Chiefs Cards right now.
What? See, they're showing the boring game on NFL Network.
Yeah, well, we're going to flip back and forth, but right now Patrick Mahomes just converted a 4th down and 3. Oh, nice play. Honestly, this offense is just still stupid.
Okay, here's what I don't get, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 NFL Network channels.
Yeah, there's the regular and the alternate.
They're showing the same game
right.
on both channels.
I mean,
why
sure.
would you not, if it's at the same time?
I mean, because one's on ESPN and one's on NFL Network. Like tomorrow, like tomorrow, I think Seahawks and Denver is going to be on one channel, except not here locally. But there's going to be like another game on the main one.
Right.
So right now I'm on ESPN. Mahomes deep. Oh, that was bad in double coverage.
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put one on, since I'm on my laptop, I'm going to put one on my computer and one on the TV.
Sounds good.
Because I'm a nerd.
I'm just going to flip back and forth because I'm the one running the stream right now. So want to make sure the internet's good to go.
Do we have any viewers?
We got one new follower.
Oh, wow.
So, thank you.
Can you see who's viewing?
Yes,
who's watching?
I can actually. We got 2 viewers right now, so thank you to all of you who are viewing and following.
Is Shane watching?
Maybe. Shane, if you're in here, you know you can come in the chat. 3rd down and 10.
Fitzpatrick's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
My boy.
Your boy Fitzy. What are your expectations for him this season?
I mean, it's obvious. I would not be shocked if this was his last season.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I could see. I don't know. Maybe with the defense, they have a decent offense. They have some pieces. I could see them maybe.
Do you,
I think the I think the
I
real question is how bad is the division going to be? Because if it's like
it's gonna
if
be
it's the same
atrocious.
if it's the same thing as last season, then I could see the see Washington competing.
Oh, why is Mahomes running, man? It's the preseason.
Oh yeah, that's why is he even playing?
Because week 2 is the new week 3, apparently.
Yeah, but you know for a fact Russell's not going to play.
Yeah, he's not gonna play tomorrow against Denver. I don't think so.
Like,
First and goal, dude. This is just like watching him in the regular season. They don't need to do this.
I mean, he's playing. Is he playing against Arizona's first
Yeah,
string?
this is Arizona's first string defense.
Oh, then this is not giving me confidence in Arizona. Then
Well, we never thought their defense was good.
I mean,
Like, give me a break. Did we really think their defense was that good?
I've heard certain people.
Say their defense
I'm
is
I'm
good?
pretty certain I've heard Shane say their defense is good at times. Oops, I named names. My bad.
Well, you named our esteemed co-host.
Yes, indeed. Um. By the way, I like the backdrop. I like your
Yes.
change in backdrop. It's
Yeah,
a
I changed just so I can have better internet connection. Ooh,
well, it's working.
it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks very professional.
Cause,
It's
cause keep in mind, I am running the stream and I am watching football using my internet connection. So all of it's internet.
it
So
it honestly I like the picture in the background and the
thank you.
is that like an office or
Yeah, this is one of my parents' office rooms. Like this is like the office. This is like our primary home office here. But I decided I'll run here today for
so
internet purposes.
here's my question about the about
Missed that.
here's my question about
Yeah.
Kansas City. Do we think they will be a third year in a row of domination offensively?
I mean, if this drive is any indication, which I guess it is, then
But
yes.
they're playing against Arizona.
I mean,
I mean, here's my thing. Like, I I think they'll be good. I just feel like they're gonna kind of have like a Seahawks defense sort of moment where they drop down from like untouchable to really
that
good.
was a weird kick by Buckkirk. My God.
Like, you
Um,
know what I mean?
I mean, I look at Kansas City and say, I just know that the offense is going to be consistent, right? That's all we
Yeah.
really need them to be.
Right.
Defensively speaking, though, is where the concerns are. I think where did they rank last year? Like 15 to 20? Which is fine, but like it's not going to win you, like it's not going to do that much for you, right? So if you're looking at Kansas City this year, the main focus is the defense because we know what the offense is capable of.
Well, if I'm looking at Kansas City, from a fantasy football perspective, all I'm caring about is Patrick Mahomes
And I would say
and Bucker.
but I would say there's actually a lot more. I would say I think you have to care about Kelsey if you're going to draft him in the
Okay,
top
yeah, I
7.
guess. I mean, a really good.
They're the best team. If you want to pick a team for fantasy, they are still the best team.
I mean, if you can a solid connection, a solid point racking up connection would be Kelsey Mahomes. Just like having both of them on your
Which is
team,
possible, right?
that would be filthy.
That's a great stack to have.
Yeah, because you could get if you get Kelsey in the first, then you jump on the quarterback
You
before
jump on
anybody else
Mahomes
starts getting
really
it.
early.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh
only
man, that
this
would be such a solid, yeah.
but
But you're kind of, yeah,
the only problem with that is you're just kind of giving up on like because if you
right.
want to do that, you're gonna have to draft Mahomes at least by the at the
Mm,
worst, maybe the end of the
I
fourth to
mean,
fifth round. I mean, like you don't want to give up on the running back position just to get Mahomes, right? Like,
bro,
is that
by the way, this is how many people rushed the ball for the Chiefs last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
what in terms of like rushing the football?
20 people had a rushing,
Any rushing
like,
stats?
yes.
Oh my god. Well, I will say this: it's gonna be hilarious this year. I think preseason is enough, even though it's only like one drive. It's gonna be hilarious. And I think he has the ability in this offense that's very spread out, very focused on the idea of like we want to throw the football. People are not necessarily going to pay attention to Hilaire. And that's why I think I like him in fantasy. He might not get the touches you want him to get, but he's still going to get the production you need him to get.
Yeah.
Who's starting for Cincy today? Is it Finley? Who's starting out here?
I think it's Burrows. Or no.
Burrow's out. Oh, it's Brad
Yeah.
Allen. What the heck?
Yeah.
Or Brandon Allen, excuse me, I believe,
I
right?
mean, Jamar Chase is in.
Yeah. I like this Bengals offense if Burrow can stay healthy, and I think that's a big if, as we've been talking about for the last, 5 months.
I mean, Fitz looked pretty good.
Yeah. He's had a great preseason, and I don't think we need to worry about Fitzpatrick too much. What do you feel about Larry Fitzgerald's comments today? Did you see that?
No.
He basically said that he doesn't know if he wants to play anymore. He didn't say that he'll officially retire, but he's basically like, I don't know if I want to play anymore.
Hmm.
And
I
that was on
mean,
Sirius XM. That was on Sirius XM NFL Radio earlier today.
he's played a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but he's not exactly
The guy
the
anymore.
greatest. Yeah, he's not. He hasn't been the guy for like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Ever since he had his season where like he just kind of, you know.
Right. I think he's a nice slot receiver, but other than that, he's not much else. And I think Rondell Moore is able to come into that spot this year. Or maybe still Christian Kirk. Nice throw. Kirk dropped it, but nice throw.
So anyway, how was your day?
Pretty good, pretty long, but I'm happy with it. I'm ready to be doing the show live again. Especially watching these games. I think it's pretty fun. Jeez, we're already done with the first quarter in the Cards game, so. What were your thoughts on Eagles Patriots last night?
Uh, Pretty boring.
Yeah. If you're Bill Belichick, who are you starting week 1? Mac Jones or Cam Newton?
Mac Jones.
I agree. I still think it's Mac. I mean, Mac. They both had an amazing days, but it's expected. I think this game showcases actually how bad Philly is, and they're really bad. But when you're looking at when you're looking at New England, I just think Mac has had the better overall preseason. Still, I mean, we talked about Cam last week and weren't too impressed with him. I don't think this game shows too much as both of the quarterbacks did really well, but I still like Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you prefer Mac over Cam right now? Sort of the same reasons.
Well, I think he's younger, and like I personally don't think the Patriots are in a position of winning currently. Like
Really, you don't think they're a playoff team?
they Oh, I think they could probably, you know, I think they could probably make it to like a wild card or something.
That's how I feel. I think they're a
But
wild
like
card
I
team.
don't I think I just see them as a one and done. And
In what
and like
way?
there's nothing about this team that impresses me.
Does it is it because it feels like the same old Bill Belichick team, or is it more than that for you?
It feels like Bill Belichick is trying to take Mac Jones and be like, I will create another Tom Brady, even though it's like, no, no one else can be Tom Brady ever.
No, yeah,
There is one Tom Brady,
and he's still in the league.
even though he really shouldn't be. But
Hey, he's got that TV 12, no strawberries, no
yeah,
nothing.
like what's his deal with no with like
Oh,
hating on
I'm
strawberries?
gonna I'm gonna pull up his entire diet. His diet's insane. His diet is crazy, fam.
Okay, here's a non-football question, but it has to do with Patrick. Like, how does he enjoy having a beard that scruffy?
Uh,
That
can,
just
can
seems like it would be itchy.
can we also talk about the fact that Travis Kelsey shaved his entire beard,
Yeah, I don't like it.
and it looks really weird.
Dude, there's like nobody at this Washington game.
Oh, really?
It's like compared to like the Patriots game or like the Colts game I watched last week. Bruh, did you see how many people were at that Vikings game?
Yeah.
I was just like, what the heck? This is a Vikings. Bruh, I'm fully prepared for the Seattle game to be like full
Packed.
stadium.
Packed. Yeah.
Oh, there was another fight at a practice.
Oh my god.
Sterling Shepard and Troy Hill fought each other.
Can we all say it together? Football is back.
Mm-hmm.
There's no training camp slash preseason without a couple fights. Like, it's something that we talk about for like a week and then it doesn't matter anymore. So is Mahomes gonna play a half or a quarter?
I know.
That was also a really bad throw, but it's fine. I'm not gonna overanalyze. It's the preseason. Get the kinks out. Tommy Towns is a nice punter. This man's good. At what, about the 40-yard line? Monday Night Football on a Friday night.
Yep.
All right, I'll be right back. What are your overall thoughts on horror films?
It depends.
Do you have a ranking?
Like of horror films I've watched.
Yeah.
Um, Probably I'd say Get Out and like Us are probably at the top. And then what else? Woman in Black was pretty good. And I don't know.
What makes a good horror film to you? I'm not the biggest fan of it. Is it about how scary the film is? Is it about the plot for you?
I don't like I'm not a horror person, really. I don't do like it I don't well, first of all, I don't do super gory like torture
Films.
horror
Yep.
films. I do like more suspense and like
Drama.
drama, like tense, like oh, what's gonna happen? What's around the corner? Like jump scare, sort of like oh no, don't go down
Don't
there,
go in the
sort of.
door. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, I have watched like I watched the last Halloween movie,
Yeah.
which I thought was entertaining, just because it was like the original girl from Halloween just fighting Michael Myers. It's kind of like a mano y mano, like one on one final, like sort of like bring it on Michael Myers sort of thing. And I don't know, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as a horror film guy.
Well, you know me well. I have too much stress and anxiety to handle any major AAA horror film. I probably I probably can't even handle The Room, to be honest. But I've never seen it. I've only like seen trailers and stuff of it. These Bengals jerseys look clean.
Yeah.
I like them.
Ooh, ooh. Nah, overthrow. Jamar Chase has been looking nice tonight.
Yeah, he's the guy I really like. Um, this whole receiving core is really good. It's just really young, and again, as we talked about, is how much time is Burrow gonna have to get the ball out to them? That's a real concern, I think. But overall, this receiving core is more than complete, and that's a positive. And it's more than complete for the next few seasons, I would think.
Yeah.
I love that route by Jamar Chase. These young guys, we saw with Devontae Smith last night, these young guys do a great job with route running. Footwork, fundamentals, in and out speed is more impressive, I think, every year, as these last two receiving classes have been some of the best we've ever seen coming out. All right, 3-0 Cincy with 4:19 to go.
Yikes. That so they start with Washington starts against Herbert, then Allen, then the Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, and Prescott. In weeks 1, 3, 6,
Bro.
7, 10, 14, and 16. Wow,
Yeah.
that'll be a test to see just how good this defense really is.
I think they're more than capable of handling that.
I think there's certain quarterbacks there that are going to have a hard time, and some that are just going to be like whatever.
All right. I mean,
The
who
one,
would
the
that list
ones
be?
I think the less mobile ones are going to have a hard time with the intense pass rush that the
Right.
Washington has. Like I think Brady, I think Rodgers, I think Prescott unfortunately will have a really hard time because of his ankle.
Right. And his arm, we still don't know about that baseball arm thing that he has
Yeah,
going on.
I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks and it's just
Yeah.
I was like you've got to be kidding me.
Unfortunately, we haven't been able to review Hard Knocks this year, but you've been watching it. What is your overall take on Hard Knocks so far?
It's kind of strange
In what way?
because it's like you know how usually the first episode like leads into everything what like showing a
It
player
right.
showing like an up and coming player or like a player who's a free agent like a rookie or undrafted or somebody who might not make the team or whatever.
The guy usually doesn't make the team, so basically they're like, we're gonna highlight this undrafted player,
Yeah,
show his
and
journey, and
sometimes
then
sometimes the
most of
guy
the time
does
he
make the
won't.
team.
Sometimes, but more often than not, they don't,
Right.
and they get picked up by a practice squad somewhere else.
In this season though, so far they've highlighted uh in the first episode I watched, they highlighted CeeDee Lamb, uh their first round pick in the draft this year,
Right, the linebacker, the rookie,
Dak
yeah.
Prescott, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay, I mean, I wonder if that's just because it's Dallas, right? Like, if you're going to do
Yeah,
Hard Knocks in this day and age, like they obviously did Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys before, and it was kind of similar to what you're saying. Like, it's Dallas. It's all about glitz and glamour, you know? We don't want to talk about the
you're
up
very
and coming
right
guy.
because like in the original one, I think 2002 they did it, and it was
Was it two
basically
or
all
six? I don't remember.
it was two because it was all about, and they might have done it again in six, but
Yeah.
I know in 2002 it was all about what's his name, the guy who
It
was
was
like
all
the
about Romo, mostly. Well,
known.
actually, it
Well,
wasn't even Romo.
it was about Romo. He was an undrafted rookie at that point in that year. But what it was really about was it was the retirement year of um the running back.
Oh, I forgot, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard the story, like the TV show story with the Cowboys?
no.
So there was this competition on Spike TV that was sponsored by Jerry Jones, and it was basically this entire show of all these like receive. I think it might have just been like a receiving show with just wide receivers or something like that. And so they just picked up random guys off the street who like never played professional football, younger dudes or whatever.
That's yeah.
And this wide receiver won the show and he got a contract with the Cowboys.
Okay.
And I think he made the roster and like was a practice squad guy for a couple of years. But it was
What
just
was
like
his
this random
name?
dude. I don't remember. I have to search it up. But I can search it up. But like, it was like this really weird show on Spike TV.
Hmm.
Oh, overthrow.
I could see I could see KJ ending up back with the Seahawks.
Yeah, you said he worked
He
out
worked
with
out
yeah.
basically the tweet was giving off the vibe that all he really needed was to pass a physical, and they were going to sign him.
Ah.
So
So the show was called Fourth and Long. It
okay,
was created and sponsored by Michael Irvin.
really,
So this was May. It appeared on Spike TV May 18th of 2009. The winner of the show, this is according to Wikipedia, the winner of the show earned a spot at the Dallas Cowboys training camp with a shot of making the roster. The show put 6 receivers against 6 defensive backs. The show was filmed at the Cotton Bowl with Joe Avenzo as a coach for the receivers and Bill Bates or coach for the backs. The athletes have varying backgrounds, including national champions, CFL players, Arena League veterans, semi-pro players, and those who have tried to make NFL rosters. And let me see.
can I just point something out about this Cincinnati Washington game?
Yeah.
These are two starting offenses,
Yeah.
and it's 3-0.
It does not look that good. Yeah.
Bro, you should have run it. Move your little Fitzpatrick legs.
So the winner's name was, what's this guy's name? Jesse what is this guy's name? Holiday or something? I can't even. Jesse Holley was the winner of the show.
Jesse Holley is a former American football wide receiver. He was signed by the Cincinnati Bengals as an undrafted free agent in 2007.
Right, and so he won the show. He played with the Bengals in 07, BC Lions in 08, with the Cowboys from 09 to 11, and the Patriots
And he was
in
signed by
12.
the Patriots, but was released
Yeah.
on September 1st. Damn.
So he was signed by the Cowboys. So he was on a futures contract for them for a while. So he had an injured knee and was forced to retire. Still pretty incredible to win a reality TV show and actually have a pretty solid NFL career.
It's really interesting that he became that because he played, even though he was a practice squad guy, he ended up becoming a member of the pre and post game coverage.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, it's only 3-3. This game's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Again, the speed of the Chiefs just falls off the page when you watch them play.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. Oh, our friend Shane is up in Newport Beach this weekend. So that's why he is unfortunately not here joining us today. What's your favorite road trip or like trip you've ever done?
I don't know. I haven't done many road trips.
What's the longest one you've done?
Probably Oregon.
Oregon. I did 13 hours 2 weeks ago. Sacramento all the way here back to Seattle.
That sucks.
Yeah. Byron Pringle's getting some nice receptions tonight. Like, this makes me not concerned about their offense at all. Like, yes, it's Arizona, but, like, that speed is still there. Like, this offense is going to be absolutely fine. It's the defense that still worries me a lot.
Man, Jesus. That...
Do you see that play by Mahomes?
Yeah, I'm grossed out by how good that O-line is.
Yeah, like, even when it falls apart, like,
that's disgusting.
this.
Look at this. Look at this. This is the best O-line in the league because they paid like $1 bajillion for it.
Like,
I mean, look at that. Like,
even when it breaks down, Mahomes just steps back and then
when
they
there's
recover.
when there's a dude literally like bull rushing him and it's like 2 feet away from him and there's a guy like able to parry him twice. He like parries him twice so Mahomes can like. I'm like watching this. I'm like, can we have this O line? Can the Seahawks? Because I guarantee you, if the Seahawks had this O line, Russell would be nutting himself. Like, just like, oh boy, like, oh wow.
Oh wow, I can actually run back and my line will recover.
I can just chill out. Like, that's what people forget. Like, Russell, the reason he was so good at like just running around on broken plays for the first like 3 seasons is because we had a pretty good O line.
Yeah.
And then we made the stupid decision of trading our center
Max Unger for Jeremy for Graham. Remember how
I was, bro? I was pissed.
Oh, you were in the no camp. You were in the no camp.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
I was like, I was so young. I was like so young. I was like, oh my god, they're a Super Bowl contender. Not realizing how much we don't. Not realizing how much we don't use our tight ends like ever.
Bruh, why did he not slide there?
I don't know. I don't understand. Mahomes is playing this like it's a real game. I'm like, it ain't.
I mean, Russell would have slid there.
I just think he's trying to get back in the swing of things.
Except Russell has been lit up so many times.
What?
What was that? Hello? Hello?
Is this Madden? Cardinals defense, hello?
Okay, are the Cardinals really this bad on defense?
The answer is yes.
Because if so, I'm so looking forward to seeing Russell just like throw it to DK and just have him just like mush someone.
He just bounced out of there like it was a flippin' bouncy house.
Was that? Who was that? Was that Kelsey?
No, dude, that was their fullback.
Oh my god, that's embarrassing. That dude's getting cut.
I don't think. What's happening?
Oh my god! What the hell? What?
What is Thompson doing? Why are you jumping, fam?
This game is so much more entertaining than the.
Wait, dude! There's 3 guys around you, and you're just gonna. Poof.
Yeet!
Oh my god!
Yeah, yeet! Kicks the dude in the head. Oh my
god!
Wait, let's talk about that for a second. He kicks a dude in the head. The other dude then collides with the other dude's head.
So he puts his leg out. He collides with the dude's head, and then the 2 guys' helmets touch.
No, that dude like straight up went head first into his buddy. Like,
okay, why? Like,
oh man,
I get it, but why? I don't get it. Honestly, it's pretty.
This team. Oh my god.
We just had 3 of the weirdest plays of the entire preseason in one possession. God.
Here's what pisses me off. The fact that Eric Bieniemy did not even get an interview for head coaching.
I know. It's honestly stupid. It's honestly so stupid. Wait, what? They're just bouncing off walls.
This is actually Madden now.
This is literally Madden on rookie
except
difficulty.
Except if this was Madden, you'd like try and cut the other way and you'd fall down.
Fair, but like, also this O-line in the running game is actually phenomenal too. Like, this is definitely a passing based O line, but they are still
Yeah.
incredible in the running game. Like, this is
Well,
Darwin
you
Thompson.
have to
This
you
is
have to
Darwin Thompson.
remember
This is their third string guy
that's
or
true,
their
and
second string guy.
that's what's making me like start to be like, man, I really can't be like they're fucked in the future because like they're not.
Because they're
This
running.
is their
They're
third
running.
string guys, and they're
I think
doing
it's
the
their.
same thing as their.
I'm gonna look it up if he's the first string or the second string. He might be the
There's,
second string, but still.
I mean, even if he's the second string, I mean, you saw what our second string O line was doing. Like, come on.
We're talking about the running back, but still.
I do believe this is probably the last season. I do still believe this is the last season of their dominance, though.
Yeah, I let
Like
you know.
nobody can be this offensively good for like
Well,
4, 5, 6 seasons in a row. Like
well,
even the Patriots when they were winning, when they had their dominance of winning Super Bowls, they like got lucky at times.
but here's my thing though. You saw how the Saints were 680 some in negative cap room, and they
Yes,
ended up being positive by the end of it.
yes.
The Chiefs also were massively over the cap and got under it because they restructured Mahomes' contract, which they're literally going to do every year now. Like, literally, this O line was just based on restructuring roster bonuses.
Well, you forget something.
Oh my
Where
god.
are you going? Like, okay then.
Okay, it's the preseason, I guess. Take your shot.
Lamau.
Wow, that
That's
nice play by Byron Murphy though. Golly.
that's
Look at how
rough.
look at how he kept his feet in here. My god.
Ooh, ooh.
I know he was trying to get it to Demarcus Robinson, but there was
All
no
right.
hole there at all. That was the
That's
first bad play Mahomes did like all night.
yeah. Um.
Yeah, so what were you saying about the cap thing?
I mean, like the thing that yeah, like they'll restructure his contract, but the thing you have to realize is there's like you remember what happened. Like it happens with every good team. When you have a lot of really good players who are all going to make a lot of money, they end up leaving
They end up
because
wanting to leave because they know no matter what they're going to get more money
right.
elsewhere. Like at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, you know, and
Yeah.
teams can do whatever they can to manipulate the cap. But I mean, this is the only year where manipulating the cap, I think, is actually vital because of how down the cap is. But as we talked about, like the next 10 years, the cap is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And with that, all these star players are going to want more and more and more money, not just the quarterbacks, but every other position. So.
Yeah.
If you were to rank streaming services, how would you rank them?
I will tell you in a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Before we talk about streaming services, let's talk about this pick. So he completely missed. What is that, Byron Pringle, on the left side of the end zone here? There's just no reason to make that throw. I don't care who you are. There are three guys in that area. Like, he should have fired it earlier, sure, but even if you miss that read, your job is to throw it away at that point. Even if it is third down, you get the field goal. And here is Colt McCoy, his 12th season in the league. Why would Cliff Kingsbury say he's the most important acquisition of the whole offseason? It's a weird thing. Not that Arizona made a ton of acquisitions this offseason, but for him to be the most important one's a little weird. That was a bad pass. That was super low. Also, Fitz is an unrestricted free agent, so he's actually not even signed to a team. Nice punt. Oh, JJ's not even playing. Yeah, makes sense. He shouldn't play like at all in the preseason. Here comes Heineke. Thank you, all those of you who have been joining us throughout the night.
All right, streaming services.
Here we go. Yeah, we're talking about. I saw the Disney Plus, that Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus bundle. What's your streaming services ranking?
All right. Should I go worst to first?
Yeah, go last and all the way up.
Okay, so what are my options?
What do you mean? What are your options?
Oh,
Like,
so
do you
like
have a
go
criteria?
through all of them?
Yeah,
Like,
like
do you mean
which ones do you have? Like, which ones do you
okay?
use the
So
most?
the ones I have have Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, Paramount, Peacock.
Oh, so you basically have everything.
I think I have all, them all.
Yeah. For me, it's
So
much smaller. It's YouTube Premium for like another week, YouTube TV, Netflix, Peacock, I guess, because like free versions or whatever. And that's like, yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. But so you have a better opinion than I do, and I
okay,
guess I've used Disney
so
Plus.
worst.
And give pros and cons for all of them.
Worst is 100% Apple TV, like Apple Plus.
Wait, like Apple TV, really?
Apple TV Plus
Yeah,
is what it's called.
right.
It is not good.
Have you watched Ted Lasso?
So I'm gonna say this, right? Actually, no, I'm not gonna put it last. I'm gonna actually put. I'm gonna put Peacock last, I think. The reason I say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peacock goes last because of its
Is it
uh
content for me? Because that's really what
its
makes me
content
not
its
want to buy.
content. And like, you know, it it doesn't have its one thing
I mean, the one
to,
thing
to
is
get
The
me.
Office. The one thing is The
Okay, yeah,
Office.
but I've seen The Office like a bajillion times, so like,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
like, it's cheap enough to be like, okay, I'll get it for The Office, but it's not worth it, really.
Yeah.
Uh
I would say the only thing that's, in my opinion, for just like using it
it
sparingly,
is
the only thing
it's
great about
it's
Peacock,
getting better though.
right? The only thing great about Peacock is like Olympic coverage is pretty good. I think that the sports coverage as a whole that they have on Peacock is really good. Brother from Another is great. Pro Football Talk Live is great on there, and The Office.
It's
And
getting
like Rich
better.
Eisen show, like all of that sports package is probably better than most services. But other
So
than that,
so yeah.
in The
So
Office.
I'm gonna continue my list.
All
So
right.
Peacock, Pros, Office, sports shows, and like uh access to shows that I normally wouldn't be able to see,
Mm-hmm.
like
Pro 30 Rock.
well, that's on Netflix now.
Is it? They put it back?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty certain that was what they got back when they gave up uh
The Office.
the Office early.
Wow.
Oh, Heineke just got sandwiched on his face. Uh so yeah, there's that. Cons, they're doing a lot of this is kind of a pro and a con. They have some interesting new shows that are like Peacock exclusives that um are kind of weird and they're not the greatest. And it just feels like it would be not on a streaming service. Like it's not good enough for TV, but you know. Um
Mm-hmm.
but a positive of that is they are rescuing shows that were on NBC and putting it on Peacock.
AP
For
Bio.
example, yeah, AP Bio, great show, hilarious.
It is funny. I watched like the first couple seasons.
All right, so that's Peacock.
Right. Can I make a comment
Then,
really quick on Peacock before we go to the next one?
yeah.
So my whole thing with NBC and how they produce TV shows is they're the one company just as a whole that likes to buy properties or like shows with really weird plot lines.
Yeah.
Manifest is a good like Manifest people really loved, but Manifest was a weird plot. They had a show that was similar to it like a decade ago. AP Bio's a
Timeless.
weird AP Bio's a weird plot. Ordinary Joe, which is coming out this fall, is a weird plot. Like these are all they buy
Yeah, or
properties that are
yeah.
just so like the plot line is so weird, and it kind of gets me engaged for like whatever that extraordinary playlist
Oh yeah.
that flipping musical show, right? Like they always
It was
do
pretty
shows
good
that
for
are
like a
really
second and then
right. Good
but they
Place
also
was a great
canceled it,
show.
so like
Right.
yeah.
Good Place is a good example.
Oh,
Weird
Good Place was a
plotline.
great show.
But Good
Yeah.
Place is a great show. Like it's like they do a good job with some of them, but they do a good job with the first season just because of the intrigue of the weirdness of the plot line. But sometimes
It
after
just
it
falls
just
off.
falls off. And it's very rare that they have shows like A Good Place that really like sustain themselves. Anyway, move on.
Okay, so that was so Peacock.
Yeah.
What do I say? I think I'm gonna put Apple TV at next just because of where it's at in its lifespan. Um, I'm just gonna say it. It's going here because it has the worst build for a streaming service ever.
In terms of like what you mean is in terms of like UI, like user interface kind of.
Yeah, it has no search bar.
Oh my God! What?
You can't search.
So if I want to watch Ted Lasso, I gotta like scroll to find it.
You have to scroll through all the different things.
That's so annoying. That's that's just terrible. It's kind of wait. So are you saying is it worse than normal cable in terms of UI, or is it like
Yeah.
wow? Yeah, that's bold. Yeah. So UI is a con.
I mean, I haven't like they have some shows. The interesting thing is they haven't produced anything.
I would say
Like
they haven't produced anything of note.
Apple itself hasn't produced. They've just bought stuff.
Oh, that okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Um. So, oh, interesting. Uh, Oregon football this fall is saying that you need to show proof of vaccination or negative COVID test to go to a game.
I imagine that'll be the same for UW this year.
I'm down with it. I'm all for it.
Hey, we're both fully vaccinated. We're
Yeah.
good.
I'll show a card. Like I have my card. I have a picture of my card on my phone just for that
Same,
reason.
same.
Like it's not that hard. It's like
I have two pictures of my card just in
yeah.
case. I have it on my favorites list on my phone. Like my favorite, like in terms of pictures.
Where was yeah? So like the shows they've bought. Like they're
Right.
not, and they're okay. It's just it's a lack of content, and also like it's not a great UI. Yeah, the UI is terrible. So after that, it's you're probably gonna disagree.
Okay.
Prime Video.
Prime. I don't disagree with that. I don't think
Prime Video is low key. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention I do have Prime. Prime
Yeah, I
Video.
know you have Prime.
I forgot to mention that on my list. I agree with you. Like it really is hit or miss. Like I feel the same way about Prime Video as I do about Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is like the services are really good, but but like it takes me forever to figure out what I want to watch on both of those services. I don't really know what I'm in the mood to watch, you know?
Right.
And that I don't know if that's a problem with how I watch, because like what I've realized with getting YouTube TV is I realize how much I actually enjoy cable television over streaming services, because I'm someone who watches like TV shows. So like you could say, oh, why don't you get like HBO Max and stuff? Yes, I feel that way. But I'm also fine like recording a TV show that's on cable, like South Park, The Office. I'm like totally fine to record that and watch it at a later time. And it's like right there for me when I need it, you know? And on top of that with cable, like you got like live football like we're watching right now, which is like, you know, what we do anyway. So like for me, like there's something about cable, and it's at least with YouTube TV, it's bigger, easier access, right? Like the UI is easier to navigate than most cable services. I think the UI is more capable to navigate than even streaming services. Like
So
Amazon.
I've never used YouTube TV.
Yeah. What I will say about it, what I'll say about it is I think it's my favorite streaming service, more than Prime, more than Netflix, because what it does, like, it has the same, like, I'm a YouTube guy too, so I like watch YouTube all the time, you know?
Right.
And essentially what it is, it's like YouTube. It's exactly the same as YouTube, just instead of, I don't know, normal YouTube channels like us when we do the show, I'm posted on YouTube. Instead of that, it's like MLB Network, NFL Network, ESPN, and then I can record, like you get unlimited DVR, so I can record whatever I want, you know. So it's exactly the same thing, and it's like all right there for you. It's just the same ease of access as YouTube is. That's why I think YouTube as a whole is really good as like an overall service, the entire span of it. Other than YouTube Music, though, I still think Spotify is a lot better. But anyway, so that's why I like
Yeah.
cable more than like Prime or Netflix. It's just like I just don't know what to watch on Prime or Netflix sometimes. I just don't know. But like on YouTube TV or cable, I can find what I want to watch like so quickly because I'm recording and watching everything. But do you feel the same about Netflix and Prime as I do, where it's like you have it, but sometimes you just don't really know what you want to watch?
Yes, very much so. Like, I'll be honest, I have all these shows on my like list of to watch shows, and you know what happened the other day? I saw 30 Rock, and now I'm watching all of 30 Rock again.
Right.
That's just what happens with Netflix. It's like I saw a really good skit a couple years ago that was like show it was like the inevitability of Netflix or something, and it's like
Yeah.
you search through, I think it was a Key and Peele sketch or something, and they were like searching through everything.
Yeah, so they're like searching through stuff and they just can't find anything basically.
Well, like they couldn't find anything, and then they just saw something that they've already watched, and they're like, "Want to watch that again?" And they're like, "Yeah."
That's basically what these bigger streaming services are. It's like it goes back to my argument of I think streaming services are diluting the market really badly. Like
Yeah,
there's like streaming services in essence are becoming a worse version of cable, right? Like people hate cable for good reason, like actual cable because it's super expensive. Like I get it. That's why like YouTube TV is what like 65 a month, which is pretty solid. But like it's basically becoming the exact same thing as cable. It's just you're gonna have multiple services and multiple things, which dilutes the market, and you still can't even figure out what you want to watch.
indeed.
Anyway, continue. So, what are your pros and cons for Prime?
Hey, first of all, shout out to Wizard Dill for watching. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, um,
shout out to my guy from work,
yeah,
Shane. If you we should tell Shane to like come on the chat. Tell him to come in the chat.
so yeah, Prime. I don't use Prime all that much.
Yeah,
I use Prime. Prime is like I use Prime when there's a show that's like specifically Prime. Um,
like All or Nothing is a great example of
yeah, like
that.
All or Nothing. Jack Ryan.
Marvelous
Uh,
Mrs.
the
Maisel.
the Boys, Marvelous Miss Maisel, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, like I think Prime has the best streaming only like Prime exclusive shows.
yeah.
Um,
I'll also add a
Hands down.
pro. I also will add a pro. They have the best download feature in like better than Netflix, better than like anything, better than YouTube Premium. Like I downloaded All or Nothing Philadelphia Eagles for the trip. I downloaded All or Nothing Tottenham Hotspur. Like I downloaded all these shows like the Grand Tour. I downloaded all these shows and I watched them on the road with like ease. Like it was just on there. But like with
Yeah,
YouTube Premium, it was like you still needed to load and like you had to load up the. It was just a mess. But Prime is literally the best when you need to like. I'm on a road trip. Let me just download this series and watch it. You know that's easy and readily available for you at no extra charge, which is great.
yeah. Um, so
Uh,
that's definitely the positive. Like it's the actual shows that are on there, like the actual like movies and stuff they put on there are so backlogged that they're not very modern.
Yeah.
So there's that. Um, so yeah, so far, Peacock, Apple TV,
Prime Video.
Prime Video.
Okay. What a throw. This offense is even good with
Ooh,
a backup quarterback. My God.
dang.
Far be a false
Oh,
start
and
for them.
another thing to talk about is um Amazon is getting Lord of the Rings.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, well, I got to get on Lord of the Rings then.
they're doing a Lord of the Rings TV show.
Oh, so are they going to put the movies on there, though?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh.
Um,
To be fair, Peacock has Harry Potter, and I still haven't gotten to it.
yeah.
It was also on premium, but either way.
And then
Wait, you have Paramount ahead of Prime Video?
yes.
Are they
Well,
next?
I kind of have them tied.
Okay, so is Paramount next year?
Yeah,
Okay, then why are they tied?
because they both do the same thing for their genre. They're both just kind of like yeah, I think like Prime is a little bit above, like a sliver above Par- uh,
Paramount Plus?
Paramount,
Yeah.
but Paramount is there as a basically an archival system for CBS shows.
Right. And
Um,
and soccer, basically. What a
like it's
catch.
great. It's great because it's like shows that I can watch shows that I never watched before and stuff like that. It's easy to find them, yada yada yada. But it's the same thing as like Prime and Apple and Peacock and you know.
Do you think it has the best UI? Because one of the things with CBS All Access, when that before it became Paramount Plus, was people really liked the UI that it had.
I think Paramount Plus is better UI.
Yeah.
I think what Paramount Plus is also doing smartly is they're bringing instead of canceling shows, they're bringing them over to the streaming,
Right.
which is very smart because there's some shows that just don't do well, you know,
On cable.
on cable, and then they go over to streaming. It's like, oh, people are just watching, bada bing, bada boom. Like,
Yeah. That's why I think TV shows don't fit cable anymore. In general.
yeah. So then after Paramount, it's Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
which um Hulu used to be free, and it did the same thing. But I think now they've added in their own like ready made shows.
Right.
I like Hulu because it's like a good place to go and get shows, yada yada. You know how Hulu works.
I mean,
So
Hulu's the perfect TV show service.
yeah,
It's just the perfect thing.
here's my final three. Right, Hulu, my final four, I guess.
Yeah.
Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and the god tier HBO Max.
Why is HBO Max number one? Everyone just hype. I
Because
know why, but
it's so much content.
it's all about the
So
content.
much content. So much content
But is it?
for a really decent price. Like so much content.
But my question is it with a lot of streaming service? It's like the quantity of content, but not the quality. Is this
No,
like a
it's
bunch of
quality.
content, but it's quality content?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you just an idea of some of the stuff you could watch. Now keep in mind, this is HBO mixed with AT&T.
Yeah.
So it's like
Time
all of
Warner.
Warner's, it's
Yeah.
all of Warner's stuff. So you got stuff like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Hard Knocks, Chernobyl, um, what else? Space Jam, Ready Player One, Hangover, uh, South Park,
All of
Curb Your
South Park.
Enthusiasm,
Right.
yeah, Friends, Rick and Morty, uh, Big Bang Theory, Fresh Prince, Sopranos, uh, Batman the Animated Series,
Yeah,
uh,
that's a lot of content.
Gossip Girl, Teen Titans, Doctor Who. Uh, it goes on.
Right. So basically, it's like a bunch of content, but it's quality content, and there's always something to
Yeah,
watch, which is
like
exactly
I
what a
could
streaming
go.
service needs to be.
Yeah, I could go through this forever, and they don't take stuff off,
Yeah.
which is great. Like literally, whenever I want to watch a movie, I just go on here. Like they have Lord of the Rings trilogy. They got Scary Movie, The Mummy, Scream,
Yeah.
Rush Hour. So yeah, that's my list.
Yeah. What are your pros and cons for Netflix? Like, has Netflix always been like Netflix was like the first one?
Pros. Yeah, so pros. I think Netflix has a lot of like pros for Netflix. A lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of they're like always giving you something to find, something new to find, stuff from other countries. Uh, it's always interesting. Con with Netflix, they get rid of stuff very quickly. Uh,
Yeah.
and also they just throw because of the fact that they're Netflix, they can just throw shows at the wall and see if anything sticks.
And that's why shows get canceled with Netflix all the time. It's like
Yeah.
if you look at their money, they just spend so much more money than they make on TV shows just to see if they stick.
Hmm.
And that's like kind of a problem, but it's a system that also works, even though they've been losing subscribers. Anyway, any more pros?
No, that's it.
That's it. What are your cons for Netflix?
I told you.
Oh, your cons is just like the showpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has the best AI. Well, it and HBO Max.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
th-
think HBO Max, Disney Plus. I mean HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Netflix are tied for the UI.
right.
Because I could go on all three of those services and find something to watch in like 30 seconds.
Right. My thing with Netflix is like again, I don't know, like my thing with Netflix still is that I just feel I don't know. I just feel like I go on there and it's like I don't know if it's excuse me, just like the quality of content there, but it's like it does like I just end up going on the comedy section and being like, oh, here's a bunch of the stand-up specials that I've already seen or I'm like used to, or like stuff like that. Like I'm not as big into the actual like shows on
Yeah.
Netflix, which is probably why I'm not the biggest fan of it. But again, I'm starting to realize that I'm more of a cable guy than anything, so I don't have too much of an opinion. When it comes to Disney Plus, though, Disney Plus is the one service that I actually think is like that I would get and I would just go crazy on.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars I haven't watched, Marvel stuff. I'm gonna watch Endgame like this weekend. I recorded it, so I'm gonna watch it, and because I watched Infinity War, so I'm like, okay, I can't find the other movies, but I might as well at the end of the day watch Endgame. Um, so I will do that. Um, but I'm also just a huge fan of like Disney franchises, Pixar franchises in terms of like kid shows and stuff. Um, And yeah, I just think I agree with you. I think the UI is just easy, simple. It yeah, there's just so much content. It's truly the best, as everyone says with Disney Plus. It's truly the best family service over anything else. So
Yeah. Do you see Miko Hardman's touchdown?
yeah, I saw that catch. That was nasty.
So nice.
Yeah, their young guys are again just really quick. I love how Andy Reid is just completely focused on this offense needs speed and we're gonna have it.
Yeah.
This AJ Green signing for the Cardinals is still. I think it's a good signing. I just think it's a little weird because I don't really know what his role's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Because I think they're banking on getting younger at receiver, and they have. Also, while you were gone earlier, they were talking about on the broadcast how Cliff Kingsbury told them that Colt McCoy was their most important offseason acquisition.
What?
And I was like, wait, what? A backup quarterback?
Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
That's
Texas represent, I guess.
hmm.
Cliff's a little weird, man.
What do you think the odds are that they actually go to London and play the games this year?
100%.
Really?
100%. I think no matter what, the London games are actually like super important to the like the league front office, like the commissioner's office. Um, they care about growing the game internationally any way that they can. Um, whether or not the matchups are there, which they aren't this year, it doesn't really matter because it's all about, well, how do we grow the game? Like, how do we just grow the product? It doesn't even matter the teams. How do we grow the product? And UK is a market that they are very comfortable in because of how good Sky Sports' coverage has been forever with the NFL. That partnership in terms of broadcasting has been phenomenal. And they put a lot of resources into that coverage. Like I don't think they put as much resources in the NFL as they do the Premier League, but it's pretty gosh dang close.
Yeah.
It's pretty gosh dang close. Like I've seen some of those Sky Sports broadcasts. It's really impressive what they do.
That was a good interception.
That was a good pick. Juan Thornhill is continuing to just grow as a player. He's really good. Um, no, but like, so you have that great broadcasting partnership. You have a solid fan base that just, I don't know, it just continues to grow. But now for the NFL, when you're talking about international games, it's about what do we do to build up other countries. Like the UK is already a market that we have a stable market there, right? And that's why the Mexico games have been so vital in recent years. Growing the game in a big city like Mexico City. And obviously, those games haven't been perfect, but it's important. Germany, I believe Hamburg, has been talking to the NFL for a few years. I think Germany's another spot where they're going to try to build a market. It's slow, but they really believe in growing the game internationally because they see how they're promoting in the US and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we can do this in other countries." And I think it's become a much slower process than the commissioner's office would like, but it's getting there, you know?
Hmm.
So that's why I think even with COVID, the London games are actually more vital for the league than you and I think. And that's why they desperately want to bring it back. Plus, they also have really lucrative deals with like Wembley and Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it's like they're huge money making deals for them too. So from a business perspective, it's pretty important.
Yeah.
Now, for us as fans, it's tiring here in the U.S. There's no question because games start at 6 on a Sunday, which is kind of nutty. Um, but at the same time, I think it's super fun that way too. It's also important for them to have games on NFL Network, like regular season games. And that's an opportunity to just stick games into the schedule for NFL Network, and that I think is great. Because I don't know about you, but I love NFL Network. Like when I was younger, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but now I think it's like one of the best networks on TV.
Yeah, it went through a period where it kind of sucked.
Yeah, because it started like in 2006 with like the
Hmm.
Thursday night games, and at that point it was still kind of growing. But now I really like it. The one thing I wish they would do though is like instead of Red Zone being its separate service, I wish they just put Red Zone on NFL Network
Why?
instead of having like NFL Game Day, like NFL Game Day as a program in the morning, it's amazing, right? With Rich Eisen and all the guys. But then during the daytime portion, it's not like that necessary to watch. Like it doesn't really make sense to have like a highlight show when 9 games are going on at the same time. Sure, you have live look-ins every second or so, but it's kind of like MLB Tonight, you know? If you ever watch MLB Tonight, it's kind of like that, except it's a little bit more like convoluted. And so I've always said that it would make more sense for Red Zone to just be on NFL Network because it's better than like Game Day Now or whatever. But like the game day, like the post show game day, and like like when all the games are over is amazing. Like they used to have Deion Sanders, whatever, and obviously the pre show is great. But like during the day, I don't know. I've just never been a huge fan of like putting on NFL Network during a Sunday afternoon, and I just don't think that's a positive thing for the network. But I don't know how you feel about it.
I like NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, I love Red Zone. I just think it would be better for NFL Network to have Red Zone be on NFL Network during the day instead of having it be like a separate service. But Red Zone's like the best way to watch football. Like if you want to get into football, like watch Red Zone and you're gonna get like addicted to it.
Oh, so they should? You think they should have Red Zone preempt
On
uh
NFL Network.
NFL's channel
Yeah.
like during the like it? Oh, so you think it should just be like a show that airs on NFL Network?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense
Instead of like a
considering
separate service.
it makes sense considering you get it when you get the Red Zone channel when you get NFL Network.
In most cases. Nowadays you kinda have to pay extra for it on most services, but still.
See, that's the only problem. It's like if they put the stream from it onto NFL Network, they would have to make it free for people who get NFL Network.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like that, it should just be a regular program on NFL Network over the game day stuff they have during the day. I just
Yeah.
think it's better. I just think like if you're gonna push Red Zone. And I mean, Red Zone has already been pushed. Like, everyone watches Red Zone anyway. But,
I guess you'll be able to watch Red Zone this year because now
yeah.
you have YouTube TV. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to watch it either way. But, yeah. I mean, so for me with Red Zone, like, I just think it should just be on. My simple thing is I think it should just be on NFL Network instead of just like a separate thing. So. Because I think the way to engage fans to watch, like new fans to watch football, is Red Zone. Honestly, because it's just the best. Like, don't you agree? Like, it's just the best way to watch a game. So if you're
yeah,
a casual fan, like if you're like a casual NFL fan who doesn't watch much football, just watch Red. Let's like take a Sunday and watch Red Zone for the entire day, and I promise you will never want to do anything else on Sundays. Like that's just the
that's
reality.
why I spend my Sundays usually watching.
Yeah, like I mean that. Like if you're a casual NFL fan, just like watch Red Zone and you'll like and watch Red Zone and play fantasy football, and you'll just fall in
Oh,
love with the game.
it's addicting.
Yeah, you'll just fall in love with the game. As like, I mean, you and I have fallen in love with the game since we were kids. But for those of you who are casual viewers, like if you really want to get hardcore, like play fantasy and watch Red Zone, and you'll be like addicted to football, and it's the best. Can we also talk about the fact that this Trevor Lawrence Gardner Minshew thing is still a thing?
Really?
Yeah, like it's still a thing. Like Urban Meyer is still deciding between the two of them. Like it's a real competition. And I'm like, why?
Hmm. What do you think of Russell working with Dwayne Eskridge at the crack of dawn?
I I think Dwayne Eskridge is gonna be a guy that this year we're not gonna hear a lot of noise from. I just think that receiving core is still like very much like solid where he's not really gonna have a substantial role just yet. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think year 2 and 3 of Eskridge is going to be really, really good as long as he takes this year to develop his skills as a pure receiver. Kind of like Tyler Lockett, right? If you look at a guy like Lockett, his first season, he was like a punt return specialist, right? With those amazing returns in the preseason, everyone was really excited about him, right? That's kind of what Eskridge is going to be this year. He's kind of like really like rookie year Tyler Lockett. Like that's what he's going to be this year. But then as time goes on and as that receiving core changes, he's going to get a bigger role. And then he's actually going to have like an opportunity to be really good for the roster. And considering how Seattle builds up their receivers, I'm confident that he can be really good in this league. I just don't think it's going to come in the first year. How do you feel about Eskridge, though, based on the stuff that you've seen?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I hope unless he like pops big and it's like holy shit, we need this guy on the field at all times. I hope they don't like, you know, just force him into the trenches.
He doesn't need to be forced right now.
Right, that's my point. Like
Right.
unless he's like amazing, which I kind of doubt he will be amazing because like as you said, think about Tyler Lockett. Like no one really knew who he was.
I mean, he was amazing at K State, but
Right,
not a
but
lot
like
of people
when he
watch
was
K State.
drafted, he wasn't a name, you know.
Right.
Um And like Dwayne Eskridge, I've seen tape of him from college. He was great. He's amazing. Um, but like, do I expect him to like pop off in his first year? Like, how many rookies really pop off going from college to the NFL? Not many.
I mean, I think with this class and last year's class, you're going to see a lot more of that. Like, you're going to see guys like Justin Jefferson, right? You're going to have another Justin Jefferson type season from a guy in this receiving class, right? Like third, fourth round guy who really pops off out of nowhere. But I don't think that's going to be a guy like Eskridge. I just don't. But at the same time, if you look at Russell Wilson, you look at guys like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are perfect examples of two players that really can make a receiving core a lot better and can not single handedly, but I would say 60 to 70% help develop a receiver, right? DK is a great player, but he's even better with Russell Wilson than he would be in any other spot, right?
Yeah,
I think Lockett, if he was anywhere else, he wouldn't be as good of a player. And
I agree with you.
that's a testament to what Russell Wilson does on the field and what that offensive staff, especially with this new offensive staff this season in Seattle, is going to bring to a guy like Eskridge, right? So that's how I personally feel. I think Aaron Rodgers is the same with guys like Alan Lazard, right? Practice squad guy for years and finds his footing in Green Bay. It's the exact same thing. All right, we are in the middle of halftime of both of these games.
Yep.
Not too many massive thoughts. I mean, we've kind of gone through how we feel about all these four teams so far and all these games tonight. All right, we are coming back into the third quarter with Arizona. Arizona and KC. 10-0 Kansas City here. Not too impressive score lines of both of these games, but again, what do you expect? I really do love the ESPN commentary booth for Monday night. Like this is a really good booth. It's underrated, honestly, at this point.
Well, I think they upgraded their booth pretty well.
Yeah. Like this is the second year of this crew with Brian Greasy, Lewis Riddick, and all these guys.
Yeah.
This is a really underrated crew. It's very good. And I think even these guys did like the late games week one, like when we used to have the Monday night doubleheaders, right? Week one. These
Yeah.
guys used to do the second games every night, the 7 o'clocks, like every night for a few years, pretty much. And they were amazing. And like, so I just absolutely love that they are have been promoted to that number one commentary team the last, I guess this would be the second year. But this year we're not going to have Monday night doubleheaders
Really.
because of the schedule. Yeah, we just have a regular Monday night schedule with no doubleheaders this season. Which I guess is good because honestly, if you live on the East Coast, a 10 o'clock kick isn't necessarily preferable. Like I'm gonna be honest. I mean I like it on the West Coast, but I understand people on the East Coast who usually record the second half of those games.
I don't think they ever gave the East Coast team a 10 o'clock kick. I think it was usually a 7 o'clock. But
Right, right. No, it was always like normally it was like
they always if it was
Oakland
a
when they
double
were in Oakland,
if it was a
Denver,
double if it was a double header, it would the first game would usually be like
New York
it
Giants,
was
something
usually
like that.
New York or New England or something like that, and then it would switch to the West Coast
And it would be
and
like Denver,
like
Oakland at the time.
Seattle,
Right.
whatever.
Not almost never Seattle, but it's mostly like Denver or stuff like that. But even so, like people on the East Coast wanted to still watch those games, and those tips or those kicks were at 10 on the East Coast. So I think it's fine they got rid of it. I don't mind it. Excuse me. But I think that the schedule this year with 18 weeks is like in terms of the timing of kicks is like a lot better, just overall.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Buscelli. We're officially in preseason now.
What do you mean?
Well, Shane Buscelli's in for the Chiefs. I think the one thing that is fun about watching preseason football is that this is the only time where as us as broadcasters we don't like we just kind of casually watch the game and have fun, you know. But once the season starts, we have fun, but we watch it more intently, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fun to like do a watch along for the preseason because we're not like so intensely focused on every play because we don't feel the need to. Plus, like the NFL YouTube channel does a great job when it comes to preseason of like if there's like a rookie that everyone wants to watch, they like put every play in like a compilation, so that makes it easier, you know, things like that. But it's just I don't know, it's fun to like this the preseason and the Pro Bowl are really the only times you can watch football casually as like broadcasters, I would say, at least for me. Because like when you're watching Red Zone, like you have to be attentive because you're watching 9 games at one time. You know. What are your plans for the weekend?
Not much.
Yeah, same here. Yo, Darwin Thompson's kind of nasty. Oh my god. This man, I think this man's going to get my MVP for the night. He's been balling. Seven rushes, 45 yards, but a 6.4
Oh
average.
no! Oh no!
What?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Bengals game?
That's a big boy play right there by the defense.
Oh!
Jared, I think his name's Jared Mano.
Bro, what a play. What's
You
the
see
flag
it?
on? Yeah, I just saw
The
it.
fact that he just came in with his shoulder and lit him up, probably.
Bro, but it's not just that he lit him up. It's that he just like what I mean, he put his shoulder in, but he was going for the ball.
Oh, it's helmet to helmet.
Oh shoot.
Wait, but that can't be helmet to helmet because he was putting it. He was going low. He was lowering his
Yeah.
shoulder, and the other guy lowered his helmet.
Let's see this. Still an
If this is
incredible.
helmet to helmet, I'm mad about that.
No, that is helmet to helmet. That's square.
What?
That's square helmet to helmet. That
The
should be
other
called.
dude put his helmet,
It
what?
doesn't matter, dude. It
That's
doesn't
some
matter.
bull,
It doesn't matter if the offensive player
man.
initiates contact. It's still going to be called on the defense
Dude, he
because
didn't even. The offensive guy didn't even initiate contact. He put his helmet down
right.
going into the end zone. You shouldn't be. I don't give a shit. You shouldn't be able to call helmet to helmet if you put your helmet down and the other dude is literally just putting his shoulder pads because you're taking away the area.
Right. So basically, what happened on that play? What like if I this is the preseason, so if I'm a head coach, I love that play by Mayo because I know
Right.
exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying
And
to
you
go
can
get
tell
the
him
ball.
like, "Hey, good play," but like next time,
Don't like. But what happened? But see, this is the weird part about the rule um, when it comes to helmet, right?
look, I
Is
wouldn't even tell him. I wouldn't even be like, "Hey, next time." I'd be like, "Oh, it wasn't even helmet to helmet. It was unnecessary roughness."
Right, but what I'm saying is this is that the biggest problem with the helmet to helmet rule in the NFL is that play right there. Because
Yeah.
basically the offensive player, the Bengals player in this play, as you said, is leaning his head forward, right? Can you hear me okay? Sorry, there might
Yeah.
be a glitch. So he's leaning his head forward,
Yeah.
and while you said he's like trying to go to the end zone. But the rule book, like if you were to look at the rule book, or not look at the rule book, but if you're to look at it technically, if you're the defensive player in that instance, the offensive player is technically initiating the contact by leaning his helmet forward, while you as the defensive player are just going to get the ball. So by the offensive player leaning the helmet forward, you're losing that ball trajectory to like punch the ball out or get the ball out of the guy's hands. So by definition, it's not the offensive player's intention, but the offensive player is initiating that contact. But the problem with the rule when it comes to helmet, not necessarily a problem because I get the point of the rule. The point of the rule is to protect the players and keep them safe. That's why that's unnecessary. But in the rule book, there's no discretion for the offensive player actually initiated the contact, because if you look at how the defensive player was running towards the ball, it was bound that he was going to hit the guy's helmet. That's not in the rule book. That's just the technicality of the situation. What's in the rule book is if you do helmet to helmet, it's almost always going to go on the defensive player,
Right.
even if the offensive player in this case technically initiated the contact inadvertently.
Mm.
Right?
Dang, guys, we got our own rules review guy.
Yeah, no, dude, do you want to know what I did in middle school?
What?
In middle school, I had my surgery for my leg. Like I had something, I don't know if it was implanted, but it was to help with my like cerebral palsy, like help this leg like stay, close to my left leg in terms of like length, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that, I couldn't go to gym class. So what happened was I worked on the library and I did a project on the NFL rulebook. I literally grabbed the rulebook from NFL.com, the whole entire 256 page rulebook, and did a paper on the rulebook and like the history of the rules. I'm not kidding. I did like a 4 page paper on it.
Hmm.
So yeah. In terms of the local broadcast that you have watched on NFL Network so far this preseason, what has been your favorite local broadcasts?
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like the broadcast teams locally, what have been some of your favorites to listen to and watch?
Uh, New England was just kind of funny.
Yeah, New England's a really weird one.
I liked Minnesota.
Oh, I think Paul Allen's the best local commentator in the whole NFL. That dude gets me hype every time.
Those are the two only ones I've ever actually listened to.
hmm I mean, obviously, Albert doing the Washington ones is obviously great. I think Seattle's has always been good just because of Kurt Menefee. I think Kurt makes it a really great broadcast. Um, the main one for me is Minnesota, and I've always loved Oakland/Vegas a lot. I think Oakland/Vegas, their teams the past 5 years have been some of the best in the business locally. I always look forward to watching the Raiders broadcasts, just because I think they're really technically sound. The LA ones are a little weird. The Chargers, of course, have Matt Money Smith, which I mean, Matt's amazing on radio for the Chargers. I mean, these are basically all the radio guys anyway, most of the time. Antonio Gandy Golden with a nice play. Nice. Um, but I don't know. I think that, yeah, I think Oakland/Vegas is great. I think Minnesota's the best. I think Oakland/Vegas is number two. Um, I find Philly's overall broadcast package a little weird. I think they're a bit bizarre. I think Atlanta is pretty solid. I've always loved Atlanta because they're like Sprout, whatever, the Sprout Tree, the Treehouse Sprout Tree thing, and CW. I thought that was always really cool.
Yeah.
Cowboys broadcasts are what you would expect. I mean, they're supposed to be quality. They are always quality. Um, Other than that, I think those are the main ones. And I think San Francisco is a lot better than people will give it credit for. I think San Fran does a great job locally too. There's not too many bad ones. We're really lucky in all, I think all of our leagues here in America where local teams are normally just really really good. There's very rarely bad teams. Yeah, I think New England is a funny one. Like I think funny is the right way to put it. I think that like the we talked about what is it, the Bob's Furniture Report segment or whatever. What
Yeah.
was that? Like that's
Yeah, it was
always,
like the Bob's Furniture Store or whatever.
yeah. I find that weird, but other than that, like New England's fine. But yeah, that's about it. I don't have many complaints about commentary teams because they're usually just really good. Especially in the NFL, we just get really lucky with great commentary.
Yeah.
There's very rarely, even on the national stages, there's very rarely bad commentators, and especially like Fox. I think Fox has done a great job of like recruiting talent to do NFL games, right? Like for a few games this year, you're gonna have Aqib Talib do commentary, right? And Talib is a phenomenal commentator. They're bringing in Greg Olson full time this year. I think ESPN bringing in RG3 is great. I think he's gonna have a great career. He impressed tremendously in what was it, in what is it, in like the remote settings or the auditions, I should say. He impressed tremendously. And of course we know about the number one teams, of course. um I keep Talib is great. I love Megan O'Leary. Of course she's done stuff with UFC forever, but as she's been at Fox, towards the tail end of Fox's UFC run, she did some NFL games, and she's doing a couple more this year. She's an amazing overall sideline reporter. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think Fox as a overall bunch has done the best job of recruiting younger talent. Um, but CBS has always done great in terms of like just keeping their talent around. Of course, they brought in Charles Davis last year, but they do a great job just keeping their talent around, and obviously Tony Romo was amazing for them, and is amazing for them. But in that, I just think Fox has the best job of recruiting young talent. So that's like number one for me when you're looking at the list of broadcasters towards the back end. I think Fox does the best job overall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that strong opinion on commentary teams as I do, but
I mean, you know me, the only commentary team I really don't like is um
Troy and Joe,
yeah.
yeah.
And like I think they're getting better. Like
I don't know. I'm someone who just really appreciates listening to them. I don't know if it's just because I'm so used to, especially Joe Buck. I'm so used to listening to his commentary like how many days out of the year? Gee, wait, how many days? Because not just the NFL, he does a bunch of MLB stuff too. So it's like almost the entire year you listen to Joe Buck, right? So like I've just gotten so used to his commentary, and I mean I get why people don't like it. It's not the most energetic team in the world, but I've just always found them to be tried and true for me personally. But what's your overall opinion on them?
uh Troy.
Yeah, like Troy and Joe is like a team.
Um I think as a team they work well together.
Mm-hmm.
Um I think they're pretty obnoxious whenever they call Seahawks games or Dallas games.
Yeah,
But other than that, I think they're okay.
yeah. My biggest problem with with Joe and Troy is nothing to do with them itself. It's to do with how the Fox execs schedule their travel, if that makes sense. Because I just don't like
I
that. It
mean,
seems like I don't like that they're the only crew that could be basically local Cowboys commentators. Because if you
mm-hmm.
look at it, like I understand. If you're Fox, you have the NFC package. You're gonna run with the Cowboys as much as you can because you know that's gonna get you the most viewership. I get that, but as we've stated, like the Cowboys aren't necessarily that interesting as the ratings would suggest. They're only
Yeah.
interesting because they're like appealing. They're just like an appealing franchise, but not for like the quality, right? So I that's the thing. I just don't love that they do Cowboys games all the time. I'm not a huge fan of the NFL or I'm not a fan of like network broadcasters just always finding ways to put the Cowboys on when they're not necessarily the best product that the game has to show for, other than a brand sometimes. I'm not saying this is every year, but there are some years in the past with Romo where they had like 6 or 7 wins and they still had the primary like primetime slot on like CBS and
Yeah.
Fox. I'm like, there's no point. They have 6 wins, I just don't love that. Like it's any other
Yeah.
team, if it's any other team, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get how some people could probably refute it and say, like, yeah, but it makes sense because it's the Cowboys. Like, I get the counter argument. It's completely fair because the data is the data. I mean, if you're an exec, you don't necessarily care about the best games as much as you care about how much ratings this will get me on a Sunday afternoon, right? So I get it. I totally get it. But
Yeah,
as
but
an
they're not America's team anymore.
See, but that's the thing. Like you could say they're not America's team anymore, but if you look at the ratings and the interest among the Cowboys, like they still are.
Yeah, but
They're
they're so trash.
yes, but they're also like the highest valued franchise in the entire league still. Like, even if they have 6 wins every year, they're still going to be the most interesting and highest valued team in the league. Like, it's what it is. I don't know.
I would rather watch Kansas City smack someone over and over again than watch Dallas play. I think as a team, the Cowboys have been one of the most boring teams to watch for the last couple of years.
I think that the let's put it this way, especially last year, how many times we talked about how bad the NFC East was. There was just something entertaining about how bad that division was as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, it
Well,
was.
you remember me. You remember my rants.
Yes, please go on. I actually rewatched it the other day because it's honestly one of my. It's probably my other than It's even better than your draft rant, your tight end draft rant. Like, your tight end draft rant is goated, but like, I think the NFC East rant is the best single moment on this show ever, honestly, because it's not only that you were like so hyped up, but it was
I was
Shane.
so over it. I was just like,
But it was also Shane like being like the voice of reason that he also is, while also agreeing with you.
yeah.
And like I thought that
He's
was
like,
just perfect.
I agree with you, but like,
It's like he basically he was like, this is what I keep saying, right? And I was like, yes, like that's why that segment is just so good to me. It's because we were all pretty much in agreement about everything you said. It was just our tonalities were so differing that it was perfect.
well, like the great thing about that rant is each week I had led up to like.
You led up to the rant.
Remember, each week I was talking about the Eagles and the over like the NFC went over and over and over
like
and
like
over
one
and over.
like 1 week it was the Eagles, then it was Washington, then
And
it
the
was like the
Giants.
Giants beating the Seahawks, which caused this whole thing. Well,
Then
not
the
exactly. That was
Cowboys.
after the thing, but like the Cowboys Twitter thing, which I think was the main reason you had the rant, because you
And
saw it.
that's like
Yeah,
I was just over it. I was like,
yeah. And at that point, we were all just like pissed off at how bad the division was. But the way that each of us verbalized it in like our own different ways made it so good. Kyle Shermer is in for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I just saw a Ghost of Football past
What, Shermer?
Jack Del Rio.
Oh yeah, here he is. He really feels like a ghost of football's past, but then as we found out yesterday, freaking Bill Belichick, he's headed into what? It's like 46 season in the NFL.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That dude's a legend. Even just for the longevity, he's a legend. But it's not just the longevity, of course. But if it was just the longevity, holy shoot. I mean, you're not going to get the longevity without winning chips either way, but
He's like Marley if we're talking about like a
yeah.
a Christmas Carol.
What's your favorite part of the holiday season?
I like Christmas
Nice. Why are you a Christmas person?
because my birthday's on the 28th.
Ah, so you get double. Is that a deterrent when you were a kid? Not really.
It was kind of annoying.
What? Sorry.
It was sort of annoying,
It
but
was sort of annoying, yeah. I bet. Oh boy. I think we should have a discussion about this.
what?
I just got breaking news about wrestling that I think we should talk about.
Oh yeah.
CM Punk is going to AEW. What?
The best in the world.
So, first off, here's my thing with CM Punk, right? The thing that I remember CM Punk the most, and this is unfortunate, but this is just me as a UFC fan, how
He was
terrible,
terrible.
how terrible he was. He single handedly ruined the pay per view value of every single card he was on.
Yeah.
Because they put all of those fights on flipping pay per view when there were better fights on the prelims. And now he's going to AEW, and like not only that, it's weird that John Cena's like doing stuff with WWE. It's like a mess. Where do you think wrestling as a whole is now as like a product with both AEW and WWE?
It's just like I don't know. It's not. It just has kind of lost its traction on what it used to be, which is like wrestling with entertaining storylines. Like they've lost the fact that the storylines are supposed to be crazy and eccentric and big and grand and
Right. Because at the end of the day, wrestling in these forms, wrestling in the WWE and AEW
yeah,
form,
it's entertainment.
it's entertainment. Like it's
And
sport,
and
obviously,
that's like
but
people get mad about WWE being like, oh, they don't wrestle as much, or they only wrestle so many minutes of the show. I'm like, yeah, because WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment.
it's not world wrestling sport.
It's entertainment. They are putting on a show.
They are entertaining first and foremost.
Like if you want to just see the wrestling, if you want to see a lot of wrestling, you should watch the pay per view.
Or Olympic wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when I watch WWE, I watch it for the entertainment. I watch it for the storylines. I watch it. I don't know, like
I watch it also for the funny. Like
yeah.
I loved Money in the Bank. What was it last year where they did in the
Oh yeah.
offices? That was one of the legit funniest things I've ever seen in my whole life. Thank you
Yeah.
to our guys Paul and David for like showing me that. You and those two I think have gotten me to really appreciate what WWE is, because like I began to realize like WWE just isn't about it being like a sport. It is really about the story. It's really about it just being
Yeah.
entertaining to watch on like a Friday night. You know? Like that's what makes the product really good. And that's why people like the product,
Yeah.
right?
I'll be right back.
Yeah. I got some funny stuff about Dan Campbell. I'm gonna wait for Brandon to come back for this. Hope you all are enjoying the broadcast tonight. Thank you for all of you who have tuned in to our watch along. Hope you're enjoying the games as much as we are tonight as well. No, it's only preseason, but we're getting prepped here. Great fumble recovery by this Washington defense. All right, let's look also at the other preseason games for the weekend. What is worth watching? Actually, a lot of NFL Network games as expected. So, of course, we got Broncos, Seahawks. Should be fun to see that Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater battle again. Seems like Drew Lock has the step in that process for the number one job. Bills Bears should be semi interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch Trubisky go up against his former team. See that reception. I know that that's been a concern throughout the whole weekend or throughout the whole week. It's going to be interesting at least to see that. That is tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on NFL Network. Jets Packers in the afternoon at 1:25 on NFL Network. Of course, you're looking at the Jets, and we're talking about Zach Wilson, so that's the primary thing for that game. Lions Steelers, not too much intrigue. Although with Pittsburgh, you're primarily looking at Dwayne Haskins. He's looking for that backup job there in Pitt. So Raiders Rams, not too much. Giants Browns, not too much intrigue there. Monday night is Jags Saints. So of course you're looking at the man, the myth, the legend, Trevor Lawrence, as they are still, for some reason, trying to prove that he might not be the starter. I guess I don't know. So definitely, definitely an interesting weekend. But again, it is preseason. Second and 8 in the red zone here for Washington. Good run there. First and goal for Washington. 13:02 left here in the fourth quarter. One of the things that made Antonio Gibson really great last year was the O line of the Washington football team. They have a pretty good O line in terms of run blocking, better than I think people would think. Also, Gibson has the ability to work off the backfield too. There we go. There we go. Touchdown, Washington. Going for two. Nice throw. 17-10. All right, let's check out this Chiefs game really quick. Finally, we got a touchdown here in Arizona. Nice throw. Great throw. Brandon, you back in yet? I think so, not yet. A little bit longer, all good. Interested for the Pacquiao fight tomorrow night as well. Should be interesting. Ugas versus Pacquiao. Pacquiao should win pretty easily, but it definitely should be an interesting fight, no doubt. White Sox and Rays in a 5-5 battle here in the bottom of 10th as well. Pretty cool stuff. Over the course of the weekend, too, we got Jared Cannonier and Kelvin Gastelum in a middleweight main event fight this weekend. That should be pretty cool on ESPN. The golf going on this weekend, Western and Southern Open going on. A lot of good stuff every weekend, as we always seem to see in the sports world. Rest in peace to Pedro Gomez. They were just talking about him on the ESPN broadcast. He was with ESPN for, oh my God, such a long time. Um, ESPN has always done an amazing job in terms of, um, I mean, it's not in recent years, but especially for these guys with really, really long tenures, pretty much since the beginning of ESPN, um, having a lot of those guys stick around and be part of not only ESPN's culture, but sports culture. And Pedro's an example of that for sure. The receivers on KC, even in the third string, has that. It's just all about that explosiveness. We've been harping on it all night. I think that's the biggest thing in watching an entire Chiefs game in the preseason is you're just in awe of how fast this offense is. It makes it so much easier for any quarterback of any skill set. I believe this is Aaron Gordon in right now. It just makes it easier for him to read the defense and know exactly where to go because his receivers are just going to be right there. And that's probably one of the most impressive parts about watching KC. I think, to be honest, it is because, I mean, that's what we've been saying all night long. And yeah, that's what makes KC really fun. That offensive prowess is just. I mean, we talk about Chad Henne too. Last year in the divisional round, he benefited from that speed.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
So I was watching the Washington game, right?
Yeah.
And usually on local broadcasts, one of the things that they promote is the local lottery.
Yeah.
Do you play the lottery sometimes, like every once in a while?
No.
No. I honestly, the lottery, like, it's really weird because like you're not always gonna get like a massive chance to win big money, but like you always go for it if the pot gets big enough, right? But I find it funny that like every team has like their own scratcher, so you can go to like a local Safeway, and every team has.
Oh
their
my
scratcher.
God.
Do you see the? Okay, talk about Arizona's field. I think this is probably the perfect time.
No, I'm looking at the clip of CM Punk coming out,
Oh yeah.
and just his music hitting the like the crowd in Chicago just pops, just loud, like it, like
Yeah. So the reason why I want to talk about Arizona's field really quick before we continue on CM, they showed how the grass has been like really worn down throughout this game. One thing you always say about Arizona's field when Seattle
it's a
comes to
death
town?
trap
Why is that?
because it's a crappy field. There's holes in it. Like that's what happened to uh Cam.
Right.
He like hit a hole and ended up with a
Like the
well, maybe
back
not
and leg,
well,
yeah.
yeah, he got a stinger from it. And I think it's also what happened with Sherm
Right.
and Earl. Like it's a bad field.
Yeah, it's a bad turf. And they're showing
Yeah.
it on the broadcast tonight too. When it comes to CM Punk, is this part of that whole thing as we talked about earlier with wrestling of like they're still sort of relying on the old guard to get viewership?
Oh, very much so.
And I would say that's more a negative than a positive.
Well, AEW, one of the things that they don't have is they're not building their own guys. They're
Right.
going off of established guys. And like AEW is great. Like it's entertaining. But AEW, they have this thing right now where they're like they have this vibe where they're like we're better than WWE. Like we're like the it's like the people who are like it's like the how do I put this? It's like millennials who look at people with money and they're like, huh, we're better than you because we do things different. We live our life morally better.
You just trashed my entire generation in one quote.
I'm a millennial, damn it. Um, I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, you're. I mean, here's the thing. Like, your generation of millennials is different from my generation. You're not even a millennial.
I mean, I was
You're
born in
Gen.
2000.
So you're Gen Z.
I mean, millennials is like I was born
No, it
like.
ended in '96.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So you're Gen Z, and honestly, that kind of describes Gen Z to a T. Like,
Me?
Well, not you as a Gen, not you. There's a good portion of Gen Zers who, you know, think think their poop don't stink.
What?
They're like that. A lot of Gen Zers I've met, and like I know people gonna get mad at me for this, but like I know they're gonna be like, okay, boomer or okay, millennial. I don't care.
See, you're a millennial that like at least in terms of the conversations that we have when it comes to things like the NFL, for instance, you do have like a little bit of a boomer mentality to like
You, how dare
what?
you?
But I'm saying it as a positive.
Rude.
What is it actually rude? I
No,
apologize.
I'm kidding.
I'm saying it as a positive because you like the old style of football, like the rough and tough, you know.
Yeah.
And also, you grew up like playing rugby and stuff too, so at least for you, you've like always been around the like rough and tough culture. But when it comes to these like three generations, what's like the words that describe each generation in your mind? Do you have like words that describe like the boomers, the millennials, and the
Uh,
Gen Zers? Because this is something that I don't really think about too often. Because I
boomers are
think,
out. Boomers are out of date.
okay, yeah,
Millennials. Um, millennials are split. There's some millennials that are just like whiny, and there's others who like buckle down,
yeah,
like just get it done.
yeah. One sec.
I consider myself kind of a get it done. Like I'm sick of hearing people just whine about shit. Um, and I think you're gonna say this is gonna sound again. This is gonna sound boomerish, but like
Sorry,
Gen
what were you
Z
saying? What about Gen Z?
entitled,
Entitled your word?
self entitled, like
Is it more of like the culture of
well,
parenting
and
for that, or is it like
yeah, and I honestly think that like there's, and I'm not saying everybody in Gen Z is self entitled, but good lord, man, like you spend a minute on social media and you're just like, what the hell?
I need to be
Have you
honest.
ever done anything in a month? Like I'm like and like the thing is that's why I pick and choose Gen Zers that I'm friends with very carefully because oh my god, I, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The whole idea of like everybody gets a
Like
everybody
everyone
getting
gets a medal.
everybody winning is like not great for the country, you know? Like the concept of competitiveness not being a good thing is just like really like
Social media perpetuates this in a way that I get so frustrated with. Because I think like this is part of the thing with like mental health too. It's like everyone's happier, but everyone subconsciously I think everyone is trying to one up everyone's life. And for someone like me, that's like really harmful, I guess. I don't know. Like I don't know if this makes sense, but this is like I'm sure I talked about this on the show before, but this is like my biggest talking point when it comes to social media. I think that it wasn't supposed to work this way at all. I know I've told you this over and over again, Brandon, but I don't know if I told that on air. But basically, like when like social media news, politics, policy, sports, I think has always been this way because sports is built on opinion, right? This business that we're in is truly built on opinion, and that's not a bad thing at all. That's what it's been built on. But if you look at like the Watergate scandal, for instance, you watch like NBC nightly news, they they just gave you the trial and said good night, see you tomorrow, right? They didn't like, here's the trial, and then in the middle of it, here's this like author to talk about it, or this historian, or this journalist from the New York Times. Like, that's not what it was meant to be, right? And then on top of that, I think social media has made it where you need to watch every move you make. I think social media has made it where everything is on camera, everyone's a celebrity, and it's harmful. It creates
Yeah.
this sense of like harmful. I deal with so many mental health struggles partially because of that. I don't even do. Here's the thing. I don't even look at it. Just the
Well,
fact that
Twitter, like I enjoy Twitter, but Twitter is content. Oh, maybe we shouldn't be having this conversation on Twitch.
I mean, we can. Like, it's an
Um,
honest conversation about where it is. It's not about a specific company.
yeah, I think Twitch is just kind of
Twitch or
not Twitch, but
Twitter.
Twitter.
Right.
Twitter has created the virus that is everybody knows everything ism.
Right.
It's the everybody's an expert ism. Everybody has just because you have an opinion, you should say it and it's correct.
Right. And there's no pushback to that opinion. Right? This is not directed at one company or one group or whatever. This is just the
It's just
landscape of it.
society. It's
It's the
society.
landscape of it.
And it's just like I enjoy Twitter. I like Twitter. I think it has a place in society. You know what I don't think has a place in society? Facebook. Um,
And I think Facebook is rough. That's why
I
I'm
think
only on
Facebook.
Messenger.
I
That's why
think
I'm only on
Facebook is
Messenger.
I think Facebook is actively
Facebook is actively
causing
harmful.
harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Depending on what you look at, like the problem with Facebook, it's not the entirety of Facebook. Like if you watch like Facebook gaming or like the stuff that we post on Facebook and things like that,
yeah.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the idea of Facebook being a place where like you go on Facebook especially and it feels like everything is bad with the world.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that, right? It's not like a positive avenue. And
Well, it's like I watched The Social Network,
yeah,
and it just it watching it at the age of 24. Oh my God, does it explain
a
so
lot.
much?
Yes.
It is rewatching it now that I have a different view on the world and everything. Oh my God,
Yeah.
does it's honestly probably the most accurate movie I've seen.
Yeah. It's a great film.
I would love a sequel. I would love for them to do a sequel of like all the events that have happened since.
Yeah, it would be a very good film.
It
Yeah.
would.
It would be amazing to hypothetically get this perspective of what like Mark Zuckerberg has a really like if you think growing Facebook was tough for him, think about what Facebook is now and
Yeah.
like the conglomerate that Facebook is. Not just Facebook, but Instagram. Um but Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. It's a conglomerate. It's a business. Instagram, right? I think I already mentioned Instagram. Instagram's like where Facebook was like 20 years ago. But it's like it would be because I promise you he's having a tougher time with what Facebook is now than ever before because I don't think he imagined or anyone imagined what social media could become based on all of these things. Even at like there's this one scene in the social network in regards to relationship status that I always find amazing. Do you remember that scene at all?
Which scene?
There's a scene in this is something that like even South Park kind of parried too, where there's a scene where it's like they were talking about like oh like dating people right like him and his partner, right? And they're sitting
Yeah.
there and they're talking about dating, and then in the middle of it, while they're trying to like connect with these women in class, he's like, "Oh, I should add a relationship status thing to Facebook." Right, where it's like,
Oh yeah.
right, and then like later on in the movie, his partner is dating one of the women, and he
Yeah.
just goes berserk because he didn't change his relationship status when in reality does it
Yeah.
really matter. I've always found that scene really interesting because it makes like how she reacted in that moment
Well,
in
you know why we find that stuff interesting? It's because we're communications majors, and
exactly. This is the this is
that
the
see
kind of thought
that
process we have
yeah.
about it.
In a way, I mean, it's like that um that moment of adding
Relationships
relationship
status.
like status to Facebook to your page changed the way that people communicate if they're in a relationship or not, and impacted millions of people's relationships. Because if you don't have that, you don't have women or men or whatever being like, "Oh, so we're not Facebook official." Like,
Right, and but it's superficial. It's like it
right.
doesn't. It's not official. It's superficial. Why does it matter?
It's claiming your territory though.
Right,
That's what it is. It's saying, "Hey, back off." Like, claimed mine.
but it's
Uh,
like, but then
It's
I
like,
just don't get it. Like, what's there's no
you
value
know,
to it. It's
you
superficial.
know what's really funny? When I was 13, or before I was 13, I like when Facebook first started up,
Yeah,
I wanted a Facebook page so
me
bad.
too. I was in
And then
elementary school.
I got a Facebook page when I was 13, and by the time I was 15, I was like, this is boring. This page sucks. I want something new. And it took me a while to get on Twitter. Once I got on Twitter, I was like, yes, this is so good. This is like the next generation
A Facebook.
of Facebook, but it's literally just thought. That's what it is. It's the ability. It's taking advantage of people's natural reaction to just
Any situation.
shoot off the top of your head. The first thing, your first reaction,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of crazy. Some of the like you think about all the different events that have happened in the world so far that been have shown up on Twitter. Like,
It's affected by Twitter. It's
right,
adversely affected by it.
imagine if Twitter was a thing
In
when
the
9/11
70s and
happened,
80s. Or like even when 9/11 happened. Yeah.
or like when Kennedy was assassinated, or
Any of these world events back in the
yeah.
day. Holy crap.
I'm just imagining people shit talking Ronald Reagan
God.
during the like Watergate, be like, "You a cheater."
Yo, but for me, this is the thing that I use social media for is like interpersonal connection, right? Like texting you
Right.
guys, right? I use it as like a texting platform. That's why I think Snapchat is pretty good. Like I don't obviously watch the stories on Snapchat, but like the connection of like texting someone a picture is fun, right? I think that's really fun, and that's why I like it. That's why I've gotten into it. But like it's the interpersonal connection, but it's promotion, right? Like social media in itself has created and changed the way we promote products, the way we promote this show, the way any show is being promoted now. Any show, any product, look at celebrities promoting beauty products, it's essentially the same thing. It's what I think social media is great for, and what I appreciate about social media is that interpersonal connection with friends, but it's also the promotional aspect of social media. Because when you focus on those two things, you focus on the interpersonal connection, not stories, not posts, right? You focus on the interpersonal connection of like Messenger, WhatsApp,
Yeah.
Snapchat. You focus on that, and then on top of that, with our show, for instance, you focus on, okay, how can we promote this and help it grow? And when you do those two things on social media, you realize the potential of it. You realize what it was meant to be used for versus a lot of what it is used for, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all the promotion is good, right? Like obviously false advertising is a thing. So it's like I'm not saying that all of this pieces are good. I'm saying that there are pieces of it that I choose to focus on that are better for myself, my mental health, and just like who I am as a person, because that's how I communicate and that's how I want to use the platform.
Right.
Jamar Chase, 3 targets, 3 drops. I don't mind that he dropped balls today. I don't care that he did that because I look at Jamar and I'm like, okay, he wasn't even with Burrow, first off. Second off, all I really wanted to see was like his ability to run routes at an NFL level, right? That was kind of the biggest thing today, and he did that excellently. I'm not going to
Yeah.
freak out over 3 drops with a non-starting quarterback on the field. You know?
Oh, how was Rocket League last night?
I wasn't. I played by myself a little bit, but not too much.
Oh,
Tell Shane to get in here for a bit.
I said, Shane, what you do?
You do. It's
What you do? What you do? Where
what
you
what
at?
are you
Where
doing
you
in
at?
Newport?
Who you are? You are? Where you at? Where you at? Where that money? Yeah, I've been watching 30 Rock a
Hey,
lot.
it's a good show. You got me into it. I haven't
Really?
finished it,
Oh
but
man.
it's lit. The show's lit.
Dude, I this is I'm already on season 3 and I've watched it in like
You've just been
three.
binging it.
I've watched it in like 3 days. It's like
I love how you and I both have like nothing to do other than like binge watch shows and watch football and do the show.
yeah,
We're just chilling.
we have no life.
Not really. We do have a life. We're just in a stage where we're.
Do you know who Stephen Lang is?
I don't know. We're on live stream and Shane's eating dinner.
Oh,
Oh, the
that
Avatar
dude?
dude.
Oh,
I'm sorry that we're
the
voicing this
guy
out.
in See No Evil?
Shane, I'm sorry that we're voicing this part of the conversation, but it is
Oh yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Don't breathe. Yeah.
What are your overall
That's
thoughts on
cool.
Avatar? Like, is it worth a watch at this point in
I mean,
2020,
have you never
2021?
seen?
I've never
Have you
seen it.
never seen it?
I've never seen
I
it.
mean, it's fun. I think it's better without the 3D. Ironically,
Really? You think it's better without 3D?
I saw it when I mean, it came out when 3D sucked.
I thought 3D was huge when that movie came
No, well,
out.
it was huge, but it was bad.
Ah.
You couldn't sit on the edge of the theater and use the 3D glasses,
Ah.
which is why I have a bad taste of it because I had to sit on the edge of the theater because the theater was full.
Oh boy, that sucks. Yeah, that's not good. I remember when 3D TVs were a thing, and I was like, dude, this is sick. And now I'm like, You remember those ESPN 3D commercials where they took like a baseball player and like hit the camera with a baseball bat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this game's over.
Yeah. We're almost done with the broadcast for the night. 3 hours of honestly nothing too hard,
Not
right? Of
3 hours of us just rambling.
yeah. Like this wasn't this we didn't take this seriously. This wasn't the point of the broadcast. We just wanted to have fun. Look at Jared Patterson. This kid balled tonight. We need Shane to call in from dinner. Tell him to get in the chat in dinner.
He's eating. You know, Stephen Lang in his Wikipedia page is such a happy looking guy, but every movie he does is like he's like this grizzled dude.
Oh, like buff grizzled?
Like just like he's seen stuff. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. This is what happens. We're on stream, and the chat that we're having just goes crazy at the same time. And that is our night.
Yep.
That's our night. 3 hours of live coverage and us talking about just whatever we wanted
We had 2 viewers.
the whole night. More coming on YouTube, I'm certain. As this will get uploaded over the weekend. But thank you all for joining us. This was a pretty good night of football. Nothing too much to lean on, but we saw some young stars show up, and we got to see a pretty prolific Chiefs offense, even though it was the preseason.
Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next Friday.
See ya.
Brandon, next week are you handling the duties for the show this week?
Sure.
The primary duties. That's gonna be really fun. So get ready for that. Of course, fantasy football draft September 8th. So no Thursday. We said Thursday post show last week for the beginning of the season. We will not be doing that, as we'll have our fantasy football draft the night before, and we will have the normal Sunday post shows as always. But we will see you all next Friday then. Yeah, we'll see you all then. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Thank you all for joining us.